I don't know what possessed me to try to make a 3-piece suit in 1 month, knowing full well I did not know how to make one. But even though I was delusional, I still did it. Needless to say, with Black Butler coming back, I knew I had to cosplay it as a former Black Butler stan. But I couldn't just cosplay anyone. I had to cosplay the man himself, Sebastian Michaelis. Now, when you analyze his suit, you realize that his pants and dress shirt are somewhat straightforward. Well, at least I thought. The vest is more like what is going on here? It's a backless vest, so you know, we'll talk about that later. And then there's the jacket, and the suit jacket is commonly known as one of the harder things to sew. After analyzing the suit, I had to come up with my game plan. I only have 4 weeks, so I decided to allot the first week to finishing the dress shirt and the vest, because I thought those two would be the most simple to do, and then I would spend another week doing the pants because I thought that'd be a little bit more challenging. And finally, I'd have the last 2 weeks to work on the suit jacket because I knew that was going to be a huge undertaking. This probably would have worked out well if I could only stick to this plan. The dress shirt is the only part I actually use the pattern for. I don't usually use a pattern for most of my cosplay sewing. I was using a secondhand pattern, which is yay because the environment, and not so yay because I had to fix the pattern due to them altering it. But I was happy to have a guide for this anyway because dress shirts are deceptively hard. The funny thing about it, the part that I thought was going to be the hardest was actually pretty simple. I had to make pleats along the front of the button down, and they were pretty simple to do. It just took a lot of ironing. This whole suit took a lot of ironing. My first major challenge with this shirt was the collar, which honestly was the predominant challenge I had with this. I had to take apart the collar 2 times before getting it to a place that I thought was okay. The first 2 times, it was just way too big. Collars are tricky, and the problem with them is you have to do them at a certain point before you put on the arms. So the sleeves were actually not so bad because I cut the pattern correctly. And because of my holdup with the collar, this shirt was taking me a lot more time than I thought. By the time I got to working on the cuffs, which was also a bit tricky, it was already almost a week. A week had passed and I had only finished the dress shirt, the part of the cosplay I thought was going to be the easiest. So I had to go back to the drawing board and figure out exactly how I was going to finish the rest of the suit in 3 weeks. But given how long it took me to create this dress shirt, I was like, everything else is going to take me longer to create than I think. So I decided to do the pants next. So the pants, I would give myself 1 week to do the pants. Then after that, 1 week to do the dress shirt. And then after that, the last week to do the suit jacket. So let's see if I can stick to this schedule. On to the pants. This was actually the easiest part for me to make. And this is probably because I've made similar pants 2 times for my Bruno cosplays. The problem was I was trying to be fancy and sew in the zipper first, and it just had this weird pucker in the front of those pants, and I was like, fit is like one of my bigger things. I love to have a good fit even at the expense of sewing sometimes. So I decided, you know what, this fit is whack. I have to take apart all this work I did. It's gonna hurt to unpick this, but I can't see any other way. It only took me a week to finish them, but I was hoping I finished them earlier, and I would have if I just made them the way that I always make them instead of trying to be fancy. But I will say one cool part of the pants that I learned is how to do welt pockets. And these pockets weren't so bad because it was the same fabric as the main fabric. So if I made any little mistakes, it's not as noticeable, but that cannot be said for the next welts I'm gonna make. Around the time I had finished up the pants, my bestie Allison contacted me and was like, hey, you know, I'm going to be cosplay coordinating for Anime USA and we need some emergency judges because some people dropped out. Will you do it? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. Not thinking that you only have 2 weeks left and you're behind, but you know, I wanted the experience and I love looking at costumes up close, so I said yes. And I didn't dwell on it too much because I had to start this vest. And of course, with this vest, I was like, you know what? there's not that much fabric because the back is out. This is gonna be simple. No, this was not simple. One thing I do when I'm making my own patterns is I like to look at clothes that are close to it. And I did have a vest, but of course it had the back. But it did give me an idea of where I should put my interfacing. I use my lining fabric to make my mock-up, and then I can just use it for the lining after that. I also made sure to serge all of the pieces of my vest because I really wanted to make this a vest that I could wear time after time, and it actually ended up working out. Spoiler alert, but this vest came out to be probably the best part of my costume. But I didn't even finish the vest in 1 week. So this is a huge problem. The suit jacket, I know is going to take me the most amount of time, but this vest is taking me a long time too. And now it's hitting the weekend, which might have been my mistake because this is the weekend before con. I would have had 2 full days to finish the vest and work on the suit jacket, but no, I went to Anime USA and judged their Hall cosplay contest. It was an interesting time. It was cool because I got to see Allison, which is always great to see her. And I got to see one of my Identity 5 friends that I actually met in Katsucon earlier this year. Every night I went to that con, I went back home and started working on my vest. I was very dedicated. So it was Monday, the Monday before con, and I still had not started my suit jacket. I needed that entire Monday to finish my vest because I had to do welts in the front of the vest. The thing about these welts is that the vest is gray and the welts are black, so I had to be extra meticulous when sewing around a rectangle to make my welts. I was very proud of my vest, and it was at that point I knew I wouldn't be able to finish the suit jacket in time, at least in time for my liking, because I had 4 days. I was very worried because I did not know where to start. I actually have a secondhand pattern of a female suit jacket, which I was like, maybe I could use this pattern, but I didn't really like it. When you get a pattern, you get instructions with it. So I just read the instructions and I started to make the shell of the suit, the part that goes around your body. His suit won't be fully lined. Only the arms and like a panel inside of it will be lined, meaning that I can't make the mock-up, the lining. So you would say I should actually just make a real mock-up, right? But remember, I have 4 days. I just made the suit from scratch without a mock-up, which, you know, some say it's not the best idea, but I did it. It was a lot of unpicking, resewing, but I was making progress. It was starting to look like a jacket once I had the sleeves on, but it was 2 days before con and I had a prior obligation. So I told one of my little sisters that I would go with her to a SZA concert. I already agreed to this and I really did want to go and spend time with her. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go. I'm nervous. This is gonna cut down on time. I'm not even close to finishing the suit at this point. There's so much to do, but I went. And I will say, I'm so happy I went. SZA is one of her favorite artists. I'm definitely not as huge of a SZA fan, but Normal Girl speaks to my soul. So I had a really good time with her. It was actually a perfect thing to do. I know I was rushing for time and everything like that, but taking a break then, that was a genuine break, not going to judge a contest. I didn't have to think about cosplay at all. I could just be in the moment, dancing to SZA, looking at her on stage. She went on a raft. It was so cool. Take breaks, like genuine breaks, genuine non-crafting breaks where you don't have to think about it at all. Because I came back refreshed. While I did, you know, lose a huge chunk of time, I in a way regained it because I didn't feel burned out anymore. I felt like I really could finish this suit. And I had one more day. And this meant one more day to do the lapels, sew in the lining, probably a lot more stuff than I'm forgetting. So this is where I started to really cut corners and I began to be less happy with the finished product. I didn't have time, I was tired. The lapel looks nice, but it's kind of floppy. I had to do a lot of stitching in weird places and not so pretty stitches on the inside, but you know what? It was hitting 5 a.m. Thankfully, I had my partner to help me toss all my pictures into a Word document for the guidebook, and then I was done. The suit was complete. And I was so proud. I was looking at it at 5 a.m. like, You did that. You did that in a month. And it's insane. It's not perfect by any means, but dang, you have no formal training in sewing. You did not know what you were doing. You self-drafted most of this stuff. Pat yourself on the back. You did a good job. And then we headed to con.
Why are you dating so Sebastian right now?
Oh, yeah, he wouldn't smile. But we had a really good time at con, especially for the con just being in its first year. I got to hang out with my partner, my sister's friend, and this was her first cosplay contest, which is really cool. I got to meet Dropkick Cosplay, who was cosplaying Grell, and we did several skits, and then I convinced them to go on stage with me so we could do a skit on stage, which ended up being really fun. And obviously Allison was there, Sydney was there. Honestly, two of the highlights is that my little sister won an award. Her first cosplay, well, let me not lie. Her second cosplay award because she won a cuteness award before when she was a little girl. And Sydney winning Best Masters. This is one of my good cosplay friends, and I told her, I'm like, you have master level skills, enter masters, and she did. So congrats. And also congrats to the other winners. It was super cool to see a lot of your cosplays up close. All in all, it was a success. I did make a 3-piece suit in 1 month, but would I do it again? I'd like to say no, but I can't commit to that because I'm pretty chaotic. Anyways, I'm planning to go back and fix some of the parts of the costume that are rushed and some that did not fit so well. So if you're interested in seeing a video on how I fixed my Sebastian cosplay, please subscribe.